Now, there is no denying the fact that we all witnessed this cultural shift that took place ever since November the 5th. We are seeing different organizations, different studios within Hollywood, those within the media shifting away from either DEI narratives and or DEI departments and forced agendas that are rapidly diminishing. Now, yes, like I said earlier in the last post, some studios, some organizations, some companies are desperately trying to cling on to DEI and all of those varying agendas as a last-ditch effort to kind of like hang on to that, but we're beginning to see a massive change. And one thing in specific, of course, we know that the film industry is now crumbling. We know that actors out there like George Clooney, Robert De Niro, and Alec Baldwin are in a constant state of panic. And speaking about Alec Baldwin, there's a lot to discuss today as we, of course, head into exactly what's going on with that actor in particular. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So we know that Alec Baldwin has been getting a lot of flack, and rightfully so, after the comments that he displayed just a couple of weeks ago, calling over half the country uneducated and misinformed. It just goes to show you how out of touch with reality these actors truly are. Many of them, alright, 99% of them, really have no idea what they're really talking about. Now, interestingly enough, we know that Alec Baldwin has been going through various outrage moments as we speak, either behind the scenes or in the public eye, and this is not surprising in the least coming from Alec Baldwin. However, one monumental thing going on right now has to do with his recent firing from a major Hollywood studio. Now, with Alec Baldwin still to this day, of course, receiving so much backlash, especially after his recent comments of calling many in the US uneducated and misinformed, one monumental development going on now involves his recent firing from a Hollywood studio and exactly why this recently happened. Now, surprisingly, Alec Baldwin was not just fired from Apple Studios for a project with George Clooney, we talked about that yesterday, but also from Warner Brothers. Yes, this very same studio that axed both Robert De Niro and George Clooney have, of course, now fired Alec Baldwin from a massive law enforcement movie that's in the works that was set to star Alec Baldwin as the lead in a new crime thriller by Warner Brothers. Now, WB CEO David Zaslav and the studio executives made this ultimate decision to fire Baldwin due to varying factors. One of the biggest reasons had to do with the fact that Baldwin was getting so much heat within the studio after, get this, he was unwilling to work with some of the co-stars and supporting actors, some of which are newcomers, that joined the project that he believed would ruin his image in the film. Now, this toxic behavior only worsened over time behind the scenes after Baldwin had multiple outrage moments with the WB studio executives. It turns out also that David Zaslav began to understand just how unlikable Alec Baldwin was becoming, not just limited to his lawsuit, but also due to his recent politically driven comments of calling over half the country uneducated. Now, these comments went viral and did not seem to go away for Baldwin's sake, and it was said to be the deal breaker for David Zaslav. Alec Baldwin is now officially off this project, which is aimed to be a mega crime drama / thriller film that holds an ensemble cast. Now, the tones of this film are said to be very similar to The Departed. WB was also responsible for distributing that movie. With De Niro, Clooney, and now Baldwin fired from Warner Brothers, either completely or from specific projects, this is the latest example of many studios beginning to wake up. However, Baldwin is said to be having a meltdown over plans to recast the role that he was supposed to play in the film that is now said to be handing down to a younger actor as they attempt to reframe the tone of the entire movie. Now look, like I said earlier, are we really all that shocked that Alec Baldwin also got axed / fired by WB, much like George Clooney did, much like Robert De Niro got the same exact treatment? This is exactly what David Zaslav is trying to do. Unlike Bob Iger, who isn't really firing or blacklisting as many actors as he should, David Zaslav is actually taking matters into his own hands and is really trying to just save the image for WB, Warner Brothers, and I think it's the one step in the right direction. Now look, I'm a major critic of David Zaslav. I'm not a fan of the guy. I've made this very clear over the past couple of months, almost a year now. And David Zaslav, look, over all the things that I did say about him, this is the one thing that I think is a step in the right path, a step in the right direction for, of course, his reputation as a CEO for running WB. Now, moving on, of course, they are also now slashing down the budget of this new crime drama that was going to star Baldwin previously. It turns out that Baldwin played a big role in the creative direction of this film with the writers and directors and is already having many argumentative conversations with the WB studio heads for putting all of Baldwin's script ideas in the trash, as they now are beginning to start from square one. So look, that's another thing, is that they're not only firing Baldwin, but they're also scrapping all the ideas that he had, and they are putting that into the trash. They are locking it up in a vault to never see the light of day. Again, another very good decision by WB, by the studio executives there, by David Zaslav, for this new crime drama slash thriller that's supposed to have very specific tones, very similar to that of 2006's The Departed. Now, The Departed also starred Baldwin, by the way, and was also distributed by WB. The fact that they were creating a new crime drama slash thriller to be similar to The Departed is interesting, but I think it's a good move that they got rid of Alec Baldwin altogether. I think it was a very smooth decision by David Zaslav, something that was long overdue, and I think that you're going to begin to see more and more studios follow suit with other actors like George Clooney, Robert De Niro, and in this case Alec Baldwin. Moving on. Now, pushing the film an entire year and a half as a result, so that's the delay as a result of making all these changes. To make matters worse for Alec Baldwin is that he was reportedly going to be paid, get this, $18 million for this crime drama movie. The loss of the $18 million deal was said to be a massive hit for Alec Baldwin, since his role offers are now getting very thin, out of nowhere, suddenly, apart from the roles that he's already engaged in currently. So that's the other thing here, is that Baldwin is losing roles. Not just, of course, roles that he's already involved in, like this one, but future roles, or roles that he's trying to obtain with other mega studios out there, or even minor studios. And that is very revealing. That just goes to show you how Hollywood is getting very desperate at this point. They're beginning to realize that not only are people are fed up of going to the movie theater, getting, of course, thrown a message by these actors, whether it's political or culturally driven, anything like that. They want nothing to do with these actors anymore, and that's why you're seeing a lot of these studio heads, a lot of these bigwigs, if you will, beginning to take matters into their own hands. And that's exactly why I think that you're going to begin to see a slow turn of the tide. It's going to take time, by the way, for this to all catch up and to really build itself, but it's going to take multiple years for this to all happen simultaneously. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.